Purposely. Your life, God's purpose. Listen at onpurposely.com.
Today on The Bold and the Faithful, a man with an army under attack, ganged up on, surrounded, and a God who said, I will fight for you, and kept his promise. Welcome to the Bible for Busy People. I'm Erica, your host, and yup, I'm having fun with this little soap opera theme. I had to keep it going today. You and I are about to meet Joshua, one of the bravest heroes in the Bible. He was Moses' successor. Can you imagine following in his footsteps, walking in his sandals? But God always knows what he's doing. He doesn't call the qualified so often. He qualifies the called. I hope that encourages your heart today, because without Christ, we can do nothing. The Bible's pretty plain about it. But with Christ, that's a different story. Paul tells us in Philippians 4:13 that you and I can do all things through Christ who gives us strength. Matter of fact, before we get into this really powerful story, may I remind you of the words in Joshua chapter 1, verse 9. You may have heard these before. They're some of the most powerful words in the Bible. This is my command. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. If you're in a battle today, the Lord is with you. If you're in a time of peace, the Lord is with you. He does not change. The seasons change around us. Chapters in life begin and end, but He remains the same. He is with you today. So are you ready to hear the bold prayer that Joshua is about to pray? Are you ready to marvel over what God is going to do for His people? To remember that you are one of His peoples. The same God who does something absolutely awesome. And I use that in the real sense of the word. Like, it will fill you with awe, what we're about to read. The same God who does this astounding miracle is the God who is with you today and who promises to fight for you. So join me now in the book of Joshua, chapter 10, beginning in verse 1. Adoni-Zedek, king of Jerusalem, heard that Joshua had captured and completely destroyed Ai and killed its king, just as he had destroyed the town of Jericho and killed its king. By the way, just want to pitch a tent here and say, maybe you've heard Joshua won the battle of Jericho. Yep, he's the guy. All right, we're going to continue now. We're still in verse 1. He also learned, this king, Adoni-Zedek, that the Gibeonites had made peace with Israel and were now their allies. He and his people became very afraid when they heard all this, because Gibeon was a large town, as large as the royal cities and larger than Ai. And the Gibeonite men were strong warriors. So King Adoni-Zedek of Jerusalem sent messengers to several other kings, Hoham of Hebron, Piram of Jarmuth, Japhia of Lachish, and Deber of Eglon. Come and help me destroy Gibeon, he urged them, for they have made peace with Joshua and the people of Israel. So these 5 Amorite kings combined their armies for a united attack. They moved all their troops into place and attacked Gibeon. The men of Gibeon quickly sent messengers to Joshua at his camp in Gilgal. Don't abandon your servants now, they pleaded. Come at once, save us, help us. For all the Amorite kings who live in the hill country have joined forces to attack us. So Joshua and his entire army, including his best warriors, left Gilgal and set out for Gibeon. Do not be afraid of them, the Lord said to Joshua, for I have given you victory over them. Not a single one of them will be able to stand up to you. Joshua traveled all night from Gilgal and took the Amorite armies by surprise. The Lord threw them into a panic, and the Israelites slaughtered great numbers of them at Gibeon. Then the Israelites chased the enemy along the road to Beth Horon, killing them all the way to Azekah and Makkedah. As the Amorites retreated down the road from Beth Horon, the Lord destroyed them with a terrible hailstorm from heaven that continued until they reached Azekah. The hail killed more of the enemy than the Israelites killed with the sword. On the day the Lord gave the Israelites victory over the Amorites, Joshua prayed to the Lord in front of all the people of Israel. He said, here's the bold prayer now, let the sun stand still over Gibeon and the moon over the valley of Ajalon. So the sun stood still and the moon stayed in place until the nation of Israel had defeated its enemies. Is this event not recorded in the book of Jashar? The sun stayed in the middle of the sky and it did not set as on a normal day. There has never been a day like this one before or since when the Lord answered such a prayer. Surely the Lord fought for Israel that day. Then Joshua and the Israelite army returned to their camp at Gilgal. Boy, that story reminds me of that old song, Our God is an Awesome God. Ain't that the truth? I mean, wow, right? Now, God may not cause the sun to stand still in your life today, but he will stand by you. I was thinking about a verse, and I had to look it up. This is from 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 17 and 18. And I want to let you know before we read this together, Timothy was mentored by the Apostle Paul. He was his protege. So here we go. Listen to this. But the Lord stood at my side and gave me strength. So that's the verse that popped into my mind a little bit earlier. But I forgot this part. So that through me, the message might be fully proclaimed and all the Gentiles might hear it. And I was delivered from the lion's mouth. The Lord will rescue me from every evil attack and will bring me safely to his heavenly kingdom. To him be glory forever and ever. Amen. Wow. I mean, that's the verse that I've seen before in memes on social media. The Lord stood at my side and gave me strength. But the so that part is so important, isn't it? So that through Timothy, so that through Joshua, so that through Erica, so that through you, the message might be fully proclaimed. What is the message? That God is awesome and he's real and he loves his people and he fights for them and he delivers them and he rescues them and you are one of them and I am one of them. Oh, praise be the Lord. Makes me want to pray more boldly. How about you? Till next time, you are loved. Thank you for making time for the Bible for Busy People today. If being part of this community is a blessing to you, it's super easy to share this podcast with someone you love. We're all about spreading the hope of Jesus like butter. So if you've got a moment to write a review, boy, we'd really appreciate that. Maybe you need a little prayer today, or you're ready to take that next step with God. I invite you to check out our show notes. You're going to find lots of encouragement there. This podcast is one branch on a tree called Purposely, a podcast network designed with practical podcasts to help you find and thrive in God's purpose for your life. If you've got a pulse, you've got a purpose.